Welcome back to The Good Talk, the show where we discuss what's hot, what's grot, and everything between in the wide world of Warhammer. I'm joined by the amazing Bridger Hahn.
Oh,
how you doing,
that's
Bridger?
me. I'm doing all right. How are you?
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh. I'm a transformer.
You are a Transformer, and I am Ultramarine on holiday.
It's like a blue jungle ultramarine.
Yeah, it's like a Vallejo blue green jungle. Oh. Not sponsors, but Kaleo, if you're watching,
hey,
we're interested. We are here on this lovely day to discuss the most powerful armies in the game post the changes, the FAQ, the adjustments. It is not a balanced data slate. Some people, who shall remain unnamed, are calling it that, which is not true. But we're going to discuss what's changed with that, and then of course we have some super chats. We just played an awesome game between the Knights and the Ultramarines, so we'll take some questions from there, and the rest, as we say, will be history.
Oh.
So, let's talk about the changes real quick, just at a high level,
Yeah.
and discuss where we think that might have moved things. So, Eldari, notoriously the strongest, most busted faction.
Yeah.
Their fate dice are now once per phase.
Across the whole army, which is a more drastic change than I was expecting.
It's a lot.
I thought it would be once per activation.
Correct. That would have been the mediated response.
That's what I was saying they should do, among many other changes.
Yeah.
I think they went too far with that, but I don't think it's a problem that they went too far. I think it's fine.
I guess I understand, if they had done that, then people just go to as many individual D units as possible, which is still a lot. Despite the other changes, which is, of course, points increases across towering units and indirect.
And some Eldar units that were just too cheap.
The Fire Prism, I think, still too cheap.
Still too cheap. John and I were talking about this on Thursday. Yeah. We thought that it went up to 170.
No.
Because it should be 185.
Yup.
Turns out it only went up to 150.
That's crazy.
Which is still lower than every other tank. So, what were they thinking?
And it's not one that actually needs fate dice because it already has 2 inbuilt rerolls.
Yep.
So, still amazing. Yep, that's the thing. And then, of course, other changes across the board, which we'll discuss when we get to those factions. That's Eldar, kind of moved around.
Yep.
We saw, of course, Knights, both Chaos and Non, saw big points increases on everything that has towering.
Yep.
Because those were also seeing, much success. And those are the main changes, actually, basically.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's there was a towering points change, an indirect points change, and fate dice, and Eldar changes.
And
Eldar point changes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So where do you think that puts us now? If we're talking, the ordering of these top armies can be very contentious, and I don't know how useful it is to say, this one's better than this. We can talk broadly about, a top 3 and a top 5, maybe.
Yeah, so I think Eldar are still possibly even number 1.
I think
they might still be the best army in the game.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that made them busted didn't change at all. Their AP is insane.
Yeah.
Their consistency is insane, which took a small hit, but they're still the most consistent army in the game, for sure. They have a ton of rerolls, and they already shoot good.
Yep.
And their mobility.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're still the most mobile. They're still, and they're cheap. They're still actually cheaper than everybody else. So they're still the most mobile. They're still cheaper than everybody else.
Yeah.
They still have absurd AP and damage, and they're still consistent. So I still rate them possibly top army in the entire game.
I definitely agree. I think they're definitely in the top 3, probably top 2, maybe even the top 1.
Maybe the best.
Because of all the reasons that you said. Phantasm is a ridiculous stratagem. Move 7 inches at the end of your opponent's turn. We've seen how powerful uppy downy is, and that is pick them up at the end of your opponent's turn and deep strike them in your next turn. Still very strong.
This is move 7 at the end of their move phase.
Oh,
they don't even get to shoot you.
It's so good.
It's annoying.
It's so good.
1 CP. Why?
And
they get extra CP.
And they get extra CP, that's right. And it lets you leverage some of the things that are really strong in the game, so such as things like Lone Operative. We talked about the Brick of 10 Rangers with Illic is the best move blocking screening unit in the game because it's Lone Operative, but if you move within 12, they can then move again.
They move to E6 just innately when you move within 9 of them.
Within 9.
And then at the end of the move phase, they can move 7 again.
That one's the crazy one because the first one, move within 9, they have control over that. You've played Space Marines, it's a similar thing because there's that sweet spot of move within 12, don't move within 9.
Yep.
But the Eldar don't care. By the time you're going to shoot, they've actually left already.
They've already left.
So I think they're very, very strong, honestly. Yeah. We just played Knights. Where do you think the Knights place? How far, if any, did they drop?
So I just to put a bow on Eldar, I think they came down in power, but they're still number 1.
Okay.
Knights. Moving on to Knights, I still think they're one of the best factions. it might change the lists that you are seeing.
Yeah, certainly.
You might see fewer large knights. You can no longer run a Dominus, 2 Questoris, and 4 Armigers. That's fine. We might see fewer Valiants. Maybe. I don't blame you for taking a Valiant still.
They're still great.
I think Valiant and another Questoris and a bunch of Armigers might even be a better way to play.
Yeah, I'm very curious because the initial reactions you look at them, you'll say, okay, and you said kind of the same thing, was there's a 14% increase, so it's like 40 to 50 points per big knight, 50 to 60 points per big knight. Cool, you can drop 1 Armiger.
Yep.
Or you can drop a big knight and take more Armigers,
Yep.
which, as we mentioned, really play the game really, really well.
Yep.
The number of big knights and Armigers you could get before was just too many. It was too dang high.
Yeah, so again, I think they came down. I still think they're a dominant faction.
Yeah.
The things that made them busted didn't really change.
Like their ridiculous strats.
Their strats are stupid. Their army rules are stupid. Their weapons are good. They're not Eldar stupid level,
No.
but
They have weaknesses, which I really appreciate. Like cover is really scary for knights.
Yeah.
Outside of Meltas. Like the battle cannon, I think the battle cannon is such a great weapon because it's very, very strong, but the AP1 balances it. It actually means that it will struggle into certain armored targets like Space Marines.
yeah,
So
Terminators.
that's good.
Yeah.
Terminators.
But they still have tools to handle those things. They can still tank shock with big
Yeah.
combat weapons. They still have the Melta. Like I think design-wise, I would love to see other armies that have strats like knights, that have army rules like knights, that are
True.
flavorful. Maybe not as I think the power level might be a little high, but the flavor is just there's so much of it.
I love the flavor. I think the strats are just a little too cheap. And by little, I mean like 50%. Like I think a lot of them should be 2 CP strats.
Yeah, it's tough because there's no we're dealing with small numbers.
Right.
And if you push these strats to 2 CP, you will never see them.
Yeah, that is fair.
Which is like it's just an unfortunate problem with the new CP system. Is like the interrupt is 2 CP. When's the last time you saw somebody interrupt?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't get enough CP. You're really stretched for CP. Knights get 3 bonus CP when they kill your warlords,
Which is pretty great.
So that's good.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I agree. They're overtuned.
The granularity is a bit off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree. I think they are still very strong. I'm curious to see in events how far they have fallen. I don't think it's a ton. I think Chaos Knights obviously have fallen farther because they were already kind of lower. So I think they took a hit. And
I don't know if I would make Knights top 3 anymore. I think Custodes are top 3.
oh, okay.
GSC are top 3. I think it's Eldar, Custodes, GSC.
So I do want to talk about GSC. I think GSC are definitely top 3. I think they're very strong, but I will give some caveats. There's a lot of questions about the way the GSC army works right now, which I personally don't think should exist.
Okay.
So, for example, the redeploy on the Primus very clearly says after both players have deployed.
Sure.
It's not before the game, after you know who goes first.
Okay.
So that is a thing that to me is very, very clear. And there's some people that are like,
People are
oh,
saying-
it's ambiguous. We need them to clarify. Like, no, no.
Like anytime they're saying like,
They're like, because this
well, the
other
end of the game is after, so I can redeploy at the end of the game.
No, it's not even that. I would almost accept that answer, right? They're basically like, well, this other unit that has a similar rule works like this. And that's just not an argument at all. It's a different army, different rule.
Different words.
And then the second, I think, more egregious is this issue of the Acolytes. Acolyte bombs are very strong, very powerful, very popular right now because you can take 4 demo charges, which are a ton of shots at strength 8, AP like 2, D3 damage.
1 use.
1 use.
Yeah.
Now, with, of course, Colt Ambush, you can bring units back. But it's very specific about the way it's worded. You bring back the same unit.
Right.
It's not like the Astra Militarum strat, which actually says a new identical unit.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because you have people that look at the same information and come to 2 completely opposite conclusions. To me, it's very clear that you don't get them. And other people are like, well, the Guard works like this. It's a different army.
Different strat.
They don't have these crazy one-shot weapons. So I just want to put a big caveat on there because we need to kind of keep an eye on that. I know there's there's a lot of ambiguity in a lot of the armies right now, but I think that one's in particular, people need to be careful and honest about the way that they're playing the GSC.
And I think even with those weaker interpretations, which I fully agree with both of those interpretations, they're still, I think, top 3.
They're still top 3.
Ridiculous, not so strong.
Very, very strong.
I think it's Eldar, Custodes, GSC. Custodes saw no nerfs, and the other nerfs in the game were buffs to Custodes.
Yeah, yeah.
And the same with GSC. GSC saw no nerfs.
Correct.
And the other nerfs were actually buffs to them.
Exactly. Like indirect going away or getting hurt is great for GSC, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. I think Thousand Suns are very strong too.
Yes, I would put Thousand Suns top 5.
Yeah,
I think they've rocketed up. Again, the nerfs really benefited them.
Guess what? Oh my gosh! I hope John's not watching this because I played John a few times this week with Thousand Suns.
Mm-hmm.
They have a ton of indirect. They have indirect on demand.
Yep.
One strat. They have a strat to give indirect.
Mm-hmm.
They can do that stratagem twice.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Magnus chucking full reroll, devastating mortal wounds, shooting out of line of sight at like a 36-inch threat range.
Yeah, and they didn't get the indirect nerf because on the spreadsheet of all the units that the intern was looking at, they didn't have indirect on their sheet.
No indirect keyword there.
So
no increase.
Yeah.
Oh, so I think they're strong beyond that ability. But when you look at the way that smart and well-practiced Thousand Sun players can play, I think they're very, very strong. I don't know about top 3, but I think top 5.
Top 5, yeah. But I think long term, Doombolt needs changes.
Yes.
It's just a feel bad abuse. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
That's what the army does.
Mm-hmm.
But like, when an army's thing is killing stuff arbitrarily,
It's too much.
It just doesn't feel good. They're like, that thing is dead.
They should make it so that it doesn't get around lone operative. Which again, I'm sticking with my guns. Like as written, 100% it does get around lone operative. Some places are house ruling that it doesn't, and I just think that's wrong. I think it's just too strong.
I agree.
I don't think it's a typo.
It is. I think just in general, it's too strong. It just does too much.
It's so
And
strong.
you can do it twice.
Right? Okay.
So consistent.
So we're kind of hovering around these. We have Eldari, we have Knights, we have GSC, we have Custodes, we have Thousand Suns.
Yeah.
I think I'd personally put Custodes a little lower than what you're saying, just because of they do have some rough matchups. Like if you have a shooty matchup,
Forge World rules.
they. I know.
Seen their Forge World
We
rules?
should play that game.
Oh my god.
And I would love to try it out and see.
I think Eldar were the rate limiter. They were the release valve on Custodes, where it's like, you will eventually hit Eldar and lose. That is not the case anymore. I think Eldar actually have a really good game. Custodes have a really good game against Eldar now that they can't just vomit mortal wounds onto you.
Right.
Like, your invuln matters, and they have to actually roll dice against your good stats.
The invuln's a big deal. Also against Thousand Suns, as we were mentioning. You know, they can turn off armor saves. They can do mortal wounds. You're protecting against both of those. Yep. So, okay.
I think
that's compelling.
They're possibly way too good. Like, they're obviously definitely too good. I think they might be way too good. I don't think they're easy to play. I think the funny thing about a lot of these top armies, they're hard.
Which is good.
GSC is like impossible to play. Yeah. Custodes are not impossible, but you make very few decisions and they're very important.
Yes.
Exactly. Eldar are one of the easier top factions because you just have so many tools. But I'm not going to say that they're easy.
No, it's still about positioning.
A hard army to play.
It's finesse. If you get caught in the open, you are dead, 100%.
Yep.
You just can't get caught in the open.
Thousand Suns, very sequencing heavy, positioning heavy. Knights, who I put in the top 5, super easy. it's smooth sailing for the Knights. They just kind of wander around and shoot things. It's great.
I definitely agree. One last army I want to bring up before I move on is Space Marines. Now, Art of War places them in top 3.
Wow.
Which shocks me. Interests me. Again, as usual, I'll say when I talk about their opinion, they are very much the experts in the competitive scene.
Yep.
But I'm curious, like, what do you think of Space Marines? Do we think that there's certain Space Marines that they're just certainly not all created equal? I think Death Watch are still very strong. I think Ultramarines can still be very strong with Double Oath and all that stuff. I've played a bunch of games with them at this point. They just feel very slow. They feel like you don't have many tools to respond to situations compared to these other armies that we've mentioned. You know what? They're almost closer to Custodes in the sense of like you have to be careful with your game moves, and they're not as tough as Custodes either. I'll tell you that.
Right. I think there's two sides to this. The first side, I think, is something that should likely resolve itself by an answer from GW in a few months.
Okay.
I think they're probably rating Space Marines where it's the choose your own adventure. Anybody can be Gladius.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is intended. I think it causes a lot of problems in the game, and it's just wrong. And it's
a monstrosity.
It's like kicking puppies, to be honest.
Oh.
You remember at the beginning of Fullmetal Alchemist when they have the guy turns his daughter into a monster? That's Gladius as all these Space Marines. That's Gladius.
That's fair. You know what?
That's what it is. It's an abomination created by the community. Clearly not intended. Please stop doing it. So I think if we take that out, they lose a lot of their weird combo potential.
Right.
And then, furthermore, I think something Art of War is very good at is identifying specific combinations that perhaps we wouldn't think about because we look at a well-rounded list that plays the game, like most people would try to play the game.
Correct.
But they will find these angles where it's like, this is hyper efficient.
Right.
If you just take this combination of things, we can just squeeze it in. We just found enough. This list is impossible to beat.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't even try to build those lists because that's not like the way we want to play.
Yeah.
And they're right competitively. You should be looking for those angles. I think that's what they're doing.
But they're also very open about their metric, right? It's like, this is the best list piloted by the best player.
Right.
In some cases, as you mentioned, this is very, very narrow.
It's very narrow.
So I think that's a really good point to bring up about Space Brains. So yeah.
I probably agree with them. I think if you are making the Abomination Gladius thing and finding the most niche hyper combos and like putting them together and piloting perfectly, they probably are top 3.
Yeah.
But I think for the average player, they're not even top 5.
I agree. Yeah. Well, there you have it. Some shifting, some things remain the same, but all we know is there's lots to try out, lots to test. So let us know, of course, in chat, in the comments below, what you think the top armies are and why. And with that, let's take some questions. Oh, also wanted to give a heads up to folks. We are switching to $10 super chats to have them read out loud. We have been here too many nights, too many days for the rest of the day. We need to be able to pay people, give them out for giving the show. So it just gets to be too much. So we have to, unfortunately, limit the reading of the super chats to $10. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of leeway as we kind of adjust over, but $10 or more.
We're not hourly here. We try to pay people a living wage.
Exactly.
But then, But then if the show goes on forever, it's not a living wage anymore.
That's the thing. We have to balance that. We have to be, ethical and responsible. Because otherwise, it's like, oh, it's a Bridger and John game. No, sorry, it's a Bridger and who would end a game?
Dude, I'm fast.
No, but that's bad. If we were doing hourly, you're done in an hour and everyone goes home.
Yeah, that
despite
would be
all the time it takes to come up and set up, right?
We want the ability to consistently provide income to people.
Exactly.
Without taking all of their time sometimes, which we have been known to do, and we do feel bad about it.
Yeah. Anyways, let's take some questions.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Okay, so this is one. Oops.
Here it comes.
And
Jazz hands.
mentioned this one earlier before.
Yes.
And realized it was a list.
Totally.
This is from CO Von Rice. Thank you.
Oh, thank you all.
Von Rice.
Appreciate.
I put a T-Sons list in the Discord list section, looking for sage guidance on it, please, for my first GT next week.
Dude, it's a race.
Do it.
The
I
race
think
is
I'm
on.
going to win.
Oh, I'm in the mod lounge.
I think I'm winning.
I think you're winning.
Got it.
List building. Oh, you beat me.
Boom. All right. Thank you, Sifon Rice. Let's take a look. This is the Wooded Spoon Dusties.
Oh.
We have Armon on disc, naturally. We have Magnus the Red, naturally.
Yep.
Thousand Suns Sorcerer with the Lord of Forbidden Lore. We have Thousand Suns Sorcerer and Terminator Armor with the Umbralefic Crystal. We have a Zengor Shaman with Arcane Vortex. And then we have block of 10 rubrics, 5 rubrics, 10 Zengors, Vortex Beast, 10 Terminators, Forge Fiend, Rhino, Enlightened. Okay. So, there's one thing that stands out to me right away, which is the Forge Fiend.
You don't like a Forge Fiend?
I don't love the Forge Fiend. I really like bricks. I think I prefer bricks of Rubric Marines. The Forge Fiend is cheaper, or kind of a lot actually, but it's more Cabal points.
What do they get for being Thousand Suns?
The Forge Fiend?
Yeah. Blazing Salvos.
Oh yeah, what, like on the data sheet?
They get suppression. I think they always have that.
I'm not crazy about suppression. I just
So, do they really get anything for being Thousand Suns?
look at the strats, right?
Huh.
The Zengor Enlightened, I think, can be interesting for scoring. They're fast, they're on discs. The Rhino's interesting.
The weapons on the Forge Fiend disappoint me. I remember looking at them and being like, that's all it does?
Right.
That's it? So I'm with you. I'm not a fan of the Forge Fiend.
Oh, I wish you had 5 more points. Because then you could straight upgrade the Forge Fiend into a Vortex Beast, which are amazing.
They're really good.
Is
Is there anywhere else? Enlightened are so cheap and you need them for the Shaman. You can't really cut that.
the Shaman, like, do we even need the Shaman?
Oh, the Shaman goes with the regular Zangors, right? He doesn't go with the...
Enlightened, yeah.
So you could cut the enlightened, but they play the game. They're
Right.
fast.
Exactly. So I wanted to check the enhancement.
Yeah.
What is that? Arcane Vortex.
Arcane Vortex.
What does that actually do? So that's what the Zangor Shaman has that, and the Shaman gives them a 5-up Feel No Pain, so they're kind of tougher, but they're still not that tough.
Plus 1 strength and damage to psychic weapons.
I would cut him honestly.
What is?
I don't know if I'm missing something else, but
God, GW, fix the search on your stupid app. All right, his psychic attack is mutating orbs, so it goes up to damage 2, strength 10.
it is devastating, which is nice. The damage, so that's why they do
no
it.
AP.
They're going for the dev wounds. But you're not gonna. So there's a way to give rerolls to psychic weapons, but you're not gonna put it on this squad. You can put it on Magnus,
Right.
or Rubrics.
You only have D6 shots. Even if you had 6 shots with full rerolls, that's only 4 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
Is that worth the character and the enhancement?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I would.
And if you just cut the enhancement,
That's true.
you can upgrade the Forge Fiend and you keep your claw points.
Yeah.
So upgrade the Forge Fiend to a Needle of the Vortex Beast. Now we're talking
They're awesome.
real cheese.
Yeah. So, other than that, I think this is a great list. I like it.
Yeah,
We're just talking about Thousand Suns. Amazing army.
T-Sons.
Thank you, thank you. This one came in right after this one. It's from Jay. Another list. List. Thank you, Jay. G-Man, Term Capped, Apoth, BG. Lancer, 10 Hull Blasters, 5 Infills, 5 Scout Snipers, 10 Stern Guard, Hail Strike, 10 Termies with 2 A Cannons, and Whirlwind.
Nice. I like this a lot. This is similar to what I've been running, with the exception of doing. I'm doing Desolations instead of Hellblasters and no Stern Guard. I'm so torn about Stern Guard. I think they're good. If you're gonna make them work, this is the way to make them work. Because
Big 10 man.
Big 10 man, and with Bobby G, because you can double oath. You can drop them in, be like, okay, kill this first oath thing. They get to shoot again into like your second oath
Second
thing.
oath target.
So I like that a lot. The Hail Strike gives the extra AP.
Yeah. Do you rate a Whirlwind after the points changes?
I do. I think it only went up 25. I know John was also shocked about it.
It's a lot.
But
25's a lot.
It's indirect damage.
I mean, without the stupid missile boys, Desolations Marines,
Yeah.
I think you need some source of indirect.
Yeah.
But I just look at a Whirlwind and I go, how many more points is Desolation Marines? Because a Whirlwind will hurt something. Desolation Marines will absolutely obliterate it.
right. It is the 34 points each.
So 340?
Well, what about even just 5? That would be 170.
I think now that their points have gone up, you really need to commit to them.
Yeah.
I think you're running a 10 with all the buffs, or you're not running them and you're just worse off for it.
That's a great point.
It's it's a quarter of your army, because you're going to put a character in there with an enhancement.
Yeah.
You're going to have 10 of them, but I think if you want to play Space Marines competitively, like you want to win an event, you need a 10 man with all the buffs. I think if you take it out, the army just immediately gets worse.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So if you can, I would try to fit that. I do like the list. I'm debating about the Terminator Captain and G-Man. I think they do stack as far as CP the CP reduction.
They're different abilities. Yeah.
They are? Okay, so that's nice. I like the list. And I've come around to shooty Terminators when you have a Hail Strike, as opposed to like Assault. Assault are tougher. They hit like a truck in melee. But the shooty ones, when you have a Hail Strike, suddenly you can get all their bolters and the assault cannons up to AP1 or even AP2. And then you have just one more target to go into, again stacking well with G-Man's ability to be like, here's an oath target that's a little softer, now you have more shots, and then you can charge into the heavier one, kind of like we did today, right?
Yeah.
So I think other than Desolation Marines, I like the list.
I love the people who are playing Hellblasters.
Yeah, they're great.
So happy.
They're great.
Thank you, thank you. This next one is from Christopher Wells. Thank you, Christopher. Hi, Titans. Curious to hear your thoughts on transports in the new edition. As a GSC player, I'm not sure if my 4 trucks and 2 rock grinders are going to be sitting for a while or if they are useful.
Yeah, the GSC book is particularly difficult because I don't think they're bad. I think there's just better options. Like the Goliath truck hits like a truck in melee with a ton of mortal wounds. You can tank shock, all that stuff, but it's really hard to deliver. And then the transport truck has the Falcon rule, which
Oh,
is
that's cool.
the
When you
fire
get out,
support,
you reroll wins.
which is great, especially when you have things like Webbers that are devastating wound flamers. I think it's good. It's good. But for that many points, you could just get more acolytes, more
stuff
neophytes.
that comes back guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah. So
GSC is a weird edge case, but in general,
I like them.
so before the edition came out, we were like speculating, like we think this is a mechanized edition.
Right.
The more rules that we saw, the more we were like, wow, this is a mechanized edition. Like we're
Right,
gonna see, we're gonna see infantry and transports. Well, as it turns out, we thought you would see infantry and transports because we thought you would still want infantry.
My God.
But I think the more this edition has come around, the infantry are to hide behind walls, and the tanks are to play the game outside of a select few bricks.
Yeah.
You can get a 10-man Terminator squad. You can be a faction that doesn't really get good transports or tanks. But for the most part, tanks are playing the game.
Yeah.
Knights, Eldar vehicles, like the infantry
Marine
in Eldar are
vehicles.
just to like be annoying.
Yeah.
They run around and annoy you.
Yeah.
Space Marine infantry are just to run around and stand on things and be annoying.
Exactly. Yeah. I think things like orcs are another exception again because they don't have big tanks, so
Right.
they use trucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're definitely not seeing them in mass. I think
We see Land Raiders.
we see. Yeah.
But that's about it.
I think we'll see like a transport in a list.
Raiders and Venoms.
Oh, that's
are
true.
busted.
So strong.
They're broken.
But that's because that makes them into shooty platforms,
Yeah,
right? That's the thing.
makes them into tanks.
Exactly. Gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's been a weird transition. We were looking at transports as a combat delivery method. We were like, wow, with assault ramps, you could like
Right.
get out and go so far, and then you charge. And then as 10th Evolve, you're like, you don't want to charge.
You don't wanna charge,
charge them. Just stand on
which
the
is a real
objective.
bummer.
Just be on the objective. It's better here.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a good question. It's an
Great
interesting
question.
insight.
Thanks, Christopher.
Thank you, thank you. This next one is from Evan Tuminello. Thank you,
Evan.
Evan. Happy Saturday, Titans. With the precise keyword, when does this come in? And should it influence how you use a character that has other talents? Thank you. Your whole team are rock stars.
Thanks, Evan. Appreciate it.
Aw.
Thanks, Evan. Thank you so much. So, you see, we're talking about precision here. It's a tough balance. It's a tough balance.
So the baseline, how's it work?
So precision, the way it works is you attack the unit. You don't specify anything else. You do your hits, you do your wounds. Then after that point, you say, okay, these are going to use precision and target the character. You're going to take these saves on the character. These are just going to go into the rest of the squad. So you do it after you've done all that. So we still have this bad habit of kind of talking about it beforehand. But we don't actually have to do that until after you rolled your wound rolls because you're also rolling against the toughness of the unit most of the time. So that's how precision works, generally speaking. The talents, so precision is a weird thing where there's some characters that are really well designed with this. So for example, one is the Master of Executions.
Yeah.
This boy has, and they're just in a similar role, fight first and precision. And so this works as kind of a dual role of like, they're going to charge you, you get the fight first, and then you can precision out their character so that by the time they fight, they've lost that buff from the character.
Which is big.
And that's a good time to do it. But sometimes you just want to kill the rest of the squad, frankly.
Yeah, I think, before the edition, again, another like transitionary experience, we looked at precision, we looked at all these sniper rifles that are crazy, we looked at how less durable characters are, and you put them in units, and you put the unit out. But as it turns out, because precision requires line of sight to the model that you want to precision, they just put the character in a building and they string out the squad. So, like the Vindicare has busted stats. You look at the Vindicare and you're like, wow, he's going to ruin people. But I have yet to see a Vindicare play the game well. Because you just, like, because of Knights, we need terrain, and a lot of it. And Vindicare has a line of sight problem, and he just kind of hangs out. And he's, like, not really doing anything.
Exactly.
So yeah, precision's a weird rule. It hasn't really come up much in a lot of our games, because it's predictable and has counterplay.
Yeah, and you have to decide. I think the way that the game is scored really determines a lot of it too. Like, do you have assassination this turn? Do you just need to kill a regular unit? The unit's going to generally have the OC on top of it, so often you just need to kill those bodies instead of the character. So you're really going to have to play it by ear. it's like we were saying earlier, anyone can have access to precision for 1 command point. But you have to be careful about when to use it and know why to use it. And I think we're still fighting our instincts on that and like need to remember.
Yeah.
And it's a balance what to find. It's a good question, very insightful.
Thank
Especially
you.
the whole thing about being rock stars.
Oh,
Very insightful.
Very, very insightful. Thank you. So this one is from Mastercrafted Alex. Thank you,
nice.
Mastercrafted Alex. Hey, Titans. Any thoughts on the triple Plague Burst Puppy Mortarion Death Guard list that took 2nd place at a GT last weekend?
excuse me?
Now this was, I think we talked about this, right, Lindsay? This is probably the one that actually got 1st place since the 1st place cheated. Plague Burst Crawlers didn't go up in points. They have indirect.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That is another change. You can take 7 Plague Marines now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I saw
they
that.
snuck that one in there. They were like, beep.
Sorry.
Didn't fix Wardens. Look, Wardens come in a box of 5. You can't take 5 Wardens.
Yeah,
Where's
but
that
you can do
fixed?
other things with those models.
Where's that fixed, G-Dub?
You can do other things.
Where's that fixed, huh?
Yeah. Wow. What's Lindsay looking at?
Oh, there's something weird with the lights. Don't worry about me.
Okay.
Are the lights? Oh, I looked at the light. Oh,
I know you don't have
I
a
looked at
cat,
the
but like
lights.
you know how cats like will like look in the corner and you're like, is
Oh,
there a
yeah.
ghost there?
No,
That's
they're
kind of what
they're
Lindsay was just
thinking
doing.
about space.
Yeah.
That's what cats do when they look up at the ceiling. They're
about space.
contemplating outer space.
Yeah,
They're
they're just like-
astronauts.
No, it's definitely a ghost. My house is definitely haunted.
I would like to prefer that cats are aspirational. They're thinking about their lives in space.
I would like for that to be true too. I just know it's not. I know there's a ghost. I would sleep much better if I knew there wasn't a
It's
ghost.
actually, you know, it's actually rodents. They hear the rodents and they're like, I'm gonna hunt that rodent.
Well, look,
That's actually what it is.
there's a commonality between
We
this.
made it too real.
Rodents and ghosts. You know what they have in common? Old houses.
Old house?
That's
Hey,
the thing. So
it's a 50-50 ghost or
Yeah.
a rodent.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. 50-50. Actually, a lot of people don't know. It is 50-50 chance.
It is a 50-50.
Yeah.
Could be a rat, could be a ghost.
Right?
Could be a ghost rat.
But back to Death Guard. Yeah, I think it was very well played by this person. They're also definitely taking advantage of the things that the army is good at. And this is something you always want to do is like, okay, the army's in a tough spot. That's going to narrow down the competitive choices that you have. Take those units that do well, that do score, and kind of focus towards that. And it's practice, practice, practice. I think even when...
What's the puppy part of this?
What?
What's the puppy part of the list? Triple Plague versus puppy.
Puppy
Mortarion.
I think you're
Mortarion.
looking too deep into the word puppy.
Oh, is
I
it
think
not?
it's just,
Yeah,
I thought it was like another unit.
I
like,
think they're like his puppies.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's just 3 Plague versus Crawlers and Mortarion?
If
That's
I
the whole list?
recall...
That's the entire list. I would believe it.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
would believe that's the
That's
whole
it.
army. It's Mortarion and 3 Plague versus Crawlers.
Yeah.
I mean, good on him, right? Like, taking the
Yeah.
army he loves, playing it regardless. Doing well. Proud of you,
Very well.
son. You're doing great. I don't think you'll see it again often.
Oh.
I don't think you'll see... Like, maybe that person will do well
Yeah.
again. I think in general you won't see many other people succeeding. What is Lizzie looking at?
It's freaking me out. I don't
What is
like it.
happening?
There's just one of the lights is
Flickering.
not
Oh.
flickering, but like dimming and like
keep
undimming.
looking at
And I'm trying to figure out what light it is.
It's so spooky.
I said,
She's
don't
just like,
look at me.
it's really concerning.
Well, she keeps getting me to look at the lights, and I keep getting blinded.
I'm asking you to look at the lights.
This is really weird. There's rats in the walls. Lindsay can see them.
I mean, good on him, right?
Yeah.
You keep doing it. I've heard a lot of Death Guard players talking about playing Titans, so they can play as little Death Guard as possible.
Oh, gosh. Wow. Thanks, Mastercrafted Alex. Great name.
That's a great name.
Yeah. And I just want to jump ahead real quick
Jump
to
ahead.
something that is insanely relevant right now.
Oh, okay.
It's about cats and
is-
rodents.
Yes, it is. This is from the Claven. Thank you, the Claven. They're catastronauts, Bridger. Come on, man.
I mean, they are. They are catastronauts.
Catastronauts.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're contemplating their lives in space. So, like, if I was in a spaceship,
yeah.
I could be all the way up there. How do I get up there? Because cats, you know, they always want to be in high places.
Hey, you know what else has cats in space? The new Buzz Lightyear movie.
The new Buzz-
We're pushing that.
Really? I need people to watch this movie so I can talk about how dark it is.
Are we sponsored by this movie? Why do we
No,
keep
I need to talk
talking
about it. Chat, back me up. It's a really dark movie. I don't understand it, and it makes me scared.
When you say new, this movie came out like a year
No,
ago.
I didn't say it's
right?
new. It's not new. I only just saw it. So in my world, I have like
So your world
object
is-
permanence issues, okay? So right now it's in my world because I've recently seen it.
I can't believe you saw this movie and not the new Miles Morales movie.
Yeah, because that one still costs
theaters.
money.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. This one was just
That
like on
movie's
Disney
great
Plus.
though. You gotta see.
I really do. I actually do. I loved the first one. So I used to teach animation video game design, and that I would like do like a whole like set of lessons around the first Spider-Man.
different animation
Oh,
styles.
it's so good. It's so beautiful. I love it. So,
Now, word to the wise. This won't be an issue anymore because it came out a while ago.
there's no cap.
Don't sit in the front couple of rows. Because
That's generally speaking a good rule, I think.
yes, but particularly with this art
Yeah.
style movie where you
Yeah,
really
like-
need to be able to see the whole screen at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
You get like one like pixel.
I mean, sometimes characters' faces are the majority of the screen, and it's just like.
This sounds awful.
But other times, it's
for your
like
neck.
there's a whole mosaic of different things happening in different places, and you
Mm.
can see like some of it. It was. I have regrets about going on opening weekend,
oh my gosh.
but excellent movie.
Yeah, check it out. Not the sponsor either.
No.
But hey,
They could.
who did that- is that Sony?
Hey, Sony.
Sony.
Sponsor us.
what's up?
What's up, Sony?
You're watching.
Well, thank you, thank you. This next one is from Oh Hi Emma.
Oh, hi,
Hey,
Emma.
thank you. Oh hi Emma. Hey Titans, going to my first in-person local event and wanted to bring something fun. Posted the list in Necron section and the list building section
Excellent.
of the Discord at 149 PST under experimental Necron list. Thoughts?
Boom. Boom. Boom.
Oh.
Boom.
Got it.
I was so close. It's right there.
It's right underneath
Oh,
CF
it's
on Rice.
right. Oh, I scrolled all the way down and then scrolled back up.
You got to be faster than that. Experimental Necron list. We've got one hex mark with the VOD. I assume that's the. Oh, that's not the coronal.
No.
We have a.
Veil of Darkness.
Oh yes, pick up the Uppy Downy. We have the Lord with the blade and orb and the sempiternal weave. That's really good. It's a great combo. The Royal Warden with the Sovereign Coronal, which is the
Okay.
+1 to hit in a bubble. 2 Technomancers.
Technomancers.
1x5 Immortals. 2x20 Warriors. 1 Reanimator. 1x3 Scarabs. 1x10 Lich Guard with Sword and Board. And 2 Monoliths with Particle Whips. Particle Whips. That was awesome. Look. I already like this list, and then I got to the bottom, and I liked it even more. That's awesome.
You're gonna ruin people. You're gonna wreck their whole day.
That's awesome. Yes. Make this happen.
I
What do
am
you think?
a little lost with the Veil of Darkness on the hex mark. I think if you just shuffle around your upgrades. So
Yeah.
Sovereign Coronal really goes really well with the hex mark because the Sovereign Coronal is an aura. So you don't want to be attached to a unit that needs to be somewhere else, while your Sovereign Coronal aura needs to be in a place.
Right.
This is giving your monoliths hit on 2s, and the hex mark is a lone operative. So he's just like, I'm a Gloctopus. You can't shoot me.
Wearing my crown.
You can't shoot me.
I am the king.
And then, if they want to shoot him as a lone operative and he's standing next to your monoliths, if they shoot anything at your monoliths, then he shoots. And then he shoots, and then he shoots, and then he shoots, and then he shoots. And they're not going to shoot him
That's so fun.
because he's just going to keep shooting. He's just like, I can't stop shooting. I can't turn him off. He just keeps going. It's a great list. This actually is like a truly competitive list.
That's awesome.
If you just swap some stuff around. Scarabs actually make me sad.
They're good for scoring, though, right? No?
There are better things for scoring at the same points. I like not Scorpec, the
Locust?
noodle people.
Oh, Ophidian.
Ophidians are my jam because they're uppy downy people with deep strike.
That's great.
All they do is score. Do not get them in combat. You might think they have blades for arms and they're good at combat. You would think wrong.
Something's never changed.
They actually do nothing in combat.
They're actually foam blades.
But yeah, I think it's an awesome list. If you can, get yourself a spider in here. It's going to make you so happy.
Yeah.
It repairs the monoliths.
No.
Oh, no. Sorry. It gives a 4-up Feel No Pain against Psychic and Mortals.
Okay. That's good.
Everything within 6.
What?
Yep. That's what the Gloom Prism does now, and you just always get it. Yep.
That's
And then the other upgrade is a 6-up Feel No Pain for the monoliths. It doesn't heal them. It just gives them a 6 of Feel No Pain on their collective 50 wounds.
That's pretty good.
Yep. Get yourself a spider in there, my dude.
What?
Yeah.
They responded,
Yeah.
and they said that they wanted to run a Royal Warden because they have the model.
You can. Run the Royal Warden. Just swap the enhancements.
Right.
So your Warden has Veil of Darkness, and he'll just take a unit with him.
Which is good.
That's even better.
Yeah.
You pick up his unit and you put them somewhere. And then the Coronal goes on Gloctopus, who stands next to your monoliths with his spider friend. Boy, I hope you have a spider, because it makes your monoliths literally indestructible.
So good.
Yeah, it's fun.
Have fun.
It's a fun list.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Ohio. Next one is from A-Frame. A-Frame says, Bridger, have you heard of a new TCG called Flesh and Blood? It's like old school 60-card TCG.
Classic.
I've heard.
I was muted.
Oh, let's do it again.
A-Frame, thank you, A-Frame. Bridger, have you heard of a new TCG called Flesh and Blood? Yes. It's like, yeah, old school 60-card TCG.
I have heard of it. I've never played it. I think the game is now mature enough that I might want to play it.
Right.
When it first came out during COVID, unfortunate. And then it felt like there weren't enough classes. It's a class-based game. So instead of having colors like Magic,
Okay.
you choose a class, and within a class, there are certain characters that can be your, like you are a character.
Right.
And then the cards that you play are like equipment or like
right.
maneuvers, moves. So you could be like a wizard and you have wizard spells. You could be like a monk and you have different attacks. You could be like a barbarian. And it seems like a very cool game.
Yeah.
Instead of having cards that are only resources and cards that only do things, every card is also a resource that you can expend. It has that classic, I feel like card games have largely moved to this ideology of every card is a resource and an action.
Right.
And some cards are better resources and some cards are better actions, but they all do everything. I gotta say, I think Magic is almost the perfect game. Like, I get that people don't like Mana Screw and Mana Flood. I understand that feels bad. But that sharpness of the game, one, is an excuse to you as a player. It's like, oh man, if I had just
roll of dice.
like drawn better from my deck,
Yeah.
I would have done better.
Totally.
Which is the crutch of all card games.
Yeah.
You can tell yourself like, oh, I would have won if I had just drawn better. Right? But also it adds the spiky experience of like, yes, you have bad games, but yes, you also have amazing games. And you need that spiky experience, otherwise it gets very middling, right?
Right. Everything runs towards the average.
Yeah, I would like to try Flesh and Blood. It
Yeah.
seems like a cool game. Just never played it.
Thanks, A-Frame.
Thank you. This next one is from Christos. Thank you, Christos. And we
Christos.
have a list,
Oh, hi.
a GK list. 3 librarians, Cal, Brotherhood Champion, 3x5 Termies, 3x5 Strike, 1x5 Paladins, 1 Interceptors. I'm thinking fixed play behind enemy lines and engage. I think this way they will always score high.
Right. So the fixed secondaries are really tough.
It's risky.
It sounds so good, right? And I play GSC, so like they are 100% capable of doing it in theory. But the problem is you show up to the board and then your opponent is like, okay, so I know exactly what I need to do every single turn to stop you from scoring. And it actually becomes very difficult.
Yeah.
So again, it is early days. I could be wrong, but I think fixed are often a trap.
I think it's even worse for Grey Knights.
Yeah.
Grey Knights, when given these secondaries, are literally choosing whether to put models on objectives or in random places to score points, which means you will not be scoring both.
Yeah.
And you don't get many units.
Right.
And you will attrition your units throughout the game because you don't get many units.
Yeah, that's 100% a thing. When you start trying to math out, like, can you, like, if you need to do, like, behind enemy lines, you need 2 of these every single turn, you don't have enough units to do this, let's be honest. The opponent's probably going to try to kill them.
Yeah, I mean,
They run out of units.
They can stand in places to make it hard for you to deep
Yeah.
strike. They can then kill your units that do deep strike. Yeah. Or they could ignore you and stand on the objectives and score all the primary, which is worth more than the secondary.
I think this list plays tactical objectives pretty well.
Yeah.
Because you're as MSU as,
As you
Green
can
Knights
be.
get.
Yeah.
So I think try the fixed. I think once you get on the table a few times, maybe you have and you have a different experience, but I think trying it with the plan of doing fixed, see what it's like. I think it's pretty tough.
I'm so sad that Grey Knights are in this position of always having to take 3 librarians and often taking them not even in units.
That sucks.
It's-
There's something wrong when that happens,
Yeah,
right?
they goofed on Grey Knights.
That sucks.
Because this is like the only way to play Grey Knights.
Really?
And it's lame.
Man.
It's like, it's dumb. Yeah, I don't know. I think other stuff in Grey Knights needs to get a lot better. Because the librarian is the only like playable good thing in the whole book.
Right,
And
right.
There's just guys around librarians. They're not even
God.
in units together.
So sad.
It's just a collection of models. Yeah,
Wow.
they'll get better.
Thanks, Christos. And thank you, everyone at home, for joining us. Don't forget, we have, just starting today, $10 super chat to have your question read out loud. It's just for the sake of time, it's what we got to do.
This right here, that's 10.
Well,
that's 10 euro.
Yeah.
Yes, so
Which is more.
we found out, so it's the 200 count, it's the 200 limit one.
200 characters. Yeah.
That will
Adjust it.
Adjust
Perfect.
it to
Yeah.
the $10.
And it's-
So I think, like,
It's not always going to be $10, but it's like equated to you the local economy. Like Google does weird. They do a lot of mathy stuff to avoid money laundering, is my understanding. But yeah, so like it's roughly $10 in wherever you are,
And that'll work for us.
and it'll
Yeah.
color code
Yeah.
correctly, and then we'll nail it.
Makes
I
sense.
think for Canadian dollar, it's a little under $10 for them, but with tax it pushes
Yeah.
up. Or,
No,
it works
totally.
out. So
Whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just needed to be more sustainable, either by taking less time or making sure everyone get more. So appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, this next one is from Flyboy. Thank you, Flyboy. Hello,
Hey, hey.
Titan. In need of a list aid.
All right,
I got
let's go.
Chaos Daemons. I have Khorne as the base with a Be'lakor, but I don't know what god to mix with it for strong list.
I think you know what God makes
Oh, yes, I do.
Adrian knows.
This is, there's a lot of good options, to be honest. I think it's not Nurgle.
No, no, not Nurgle. But
I really like Slanesh.
I feel like, yeah.
I really like Slanesh. I think Shalaxi is by and far the best unit in the book. She is
After
ridiculous.
Be'lakor, sir, you can't leave home without Be'lakor.
You can't leave home. All right. He's like mandatory, but is he the
Yeah.
best? He's like,
yeah, that's why he's mandatory.
are you excited to take him?
Yes, it's so good.
Yeah, all right, he's the best. But she's the coolest. And
She's very cool,
She's
yeah.
so strong. So I would recommend Shalaxi for sure. I think I am going, so for sure Be'lakor, for sure Shalaxi. I think a lot of the regular Khorne stuff, like the Khorne dogs are amazing. And Blood Crushers are amazing. But I think I do like one more big monster. I'm coming around to Fate Weaver, actually.
Oh.
Because he gives you indirect. He
Double
gives
name.
you Vect.
Triple name.
He's less than 300 points.
What?
Yup.
Wait, what?
And he gives you CP regen.
Oh, jeepers.
He's real good.
That's
So I've been flip-flopping between him and a generic keeper with Soul Stealer to be able to heal. I do really like the Feel the Pains. I haven't played against new Eldar because I think one of the main reasons to have those Feel the Pains is because of all the devastating wounds.
Yeah.
Now that's chilled out. Maybe it's not as necessary, and that's where Fate Weaver becomes more interesting and gives you indirect.
they do still vomit damage. Like
still a lot.
Eldar,
Yeah.
it's not mortal wounds as much anymore, but it's still take 20 damage.
Yeah. And then a 4-up, 5-up is nothing to just scoff at. You know? Yeah. So yeah, there's some tips. I'm very excited about Demons and been giving this a lot of thought. So hopefully that's helpful.
They might be creeping their way up the rankings.
I was thinking about when you're talking about the top 5, like they might make it up
They
there.
might.
They're
They're close to top 5, certainly.
going to take a lot of experimenting, but I think they're very strong. Oh man, there's just too many cool armies.
There are a lot of cool
Ah.
Because they're kind of like knights without being knights, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, they also have all the scoring. You can fit 3 greater demons and then a lot of scoring. So GSC and Demons are the 2 armies I'm like the most excited about right now. And I just keep trying to get games because they're fun to play. Just fun to play.
Yeah, it's tough to stream GSC. They're like 5-hour games.
I know. It genuinely is, I think, faster than it used to be.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
But
which is-
the recycling of the units necessarily lengthens the game.
Oh, for sure.
It is as if every turn is turn 2.
Yep.
You activate everything
everyone's
every
going again. Thanks, Flyboy.
Thank you, Flyboy.
Oh, you're muted.
Thank you, Flyboy. Thank you. This next one is from Tom Mitchell.
What's up, Tom?
Hey, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Oh, wait, I just removed it.
Oh, no, Tom.
Okay, Tom.
Tom, you're gone.
We'll get back to you.
There's no undo button on that
Hang
one yet.
tight. I just I'll get
Never-
Tom back in a second.
Never made that
But
undo
I
button.
want to thank Soul Seeper
Oh,
for
no.
sending in a super chat.
thanks,
Thanks,
Soul
Soul. Appreciate it.
And then Molecule Cody sending in a $2 super chat.
so much.
And
Appreciate
you
it.
will have to guess what he said. So
Oh, okay. Sounds great. I love it.
thank you both for the support. This
you.
next one is from Mike McGinnis. Hey guys, lots of love from the UK. Thoughts on my theory crafting? Crusader plus Mythic Hero, Warden plus Unyielding Paragon, 2 Helverins, 3 Armigers, Caladus, Vindicare, 2 Exaction Squads, 2k points with updated.
Bridger.
Yeah.
I really have to use the restroom. And
Go.
you're the 9th person.
I'm here. Yeah,
So
I got
you
it.
take away.
You go.
Battery's coming out of the mic.
Yeah, you please do that. This is the style of night list. I'm sitting in the middle again. It's me now. This is the style of list that I really want to see more of from knights. It is 2 big knights, a bunch of small knights, and then you can soup in tools. Wow, it's so intimate. Just look at them. Look at the camera. The 2 assassins I think can do a lot for you. Although, yeah, these are the 2 assassins I would choose: Caladus and Vindicare. I think your mileage may vary with a Vindicare. Very matchup dependent, very table dependent, but at a bare minimum, he babysits your backfield objective, so that's good. The Exaction Squads, I would probably just outflank them and then wander onto the board somewhere to do a secondary at some point in time. Probably the table corners one. They'll just come into the table corners and then do that for you. In terms of 3 Warglaives, 2 Helverins, I think that's probably the right split, and I like your enhancements. Crusader with Mythic Hero gives +1 to hit to 2 things. Warden with Unyielding Paragon ignores the first AP. I might consider swapping those so that you give -1 damage to 2 things. This makes your army stupidly tanky, especially since you're running 3 Warglaives. This means that your Warden can wander up with 2 Warglaives that are -1 damage, and a lot of armies really struggle to deal with that. At least one of your 3 will guaranteed make it to their back line, which is all they really want in life. I think this is a great list. You might shuffle the 2 enhancements. It's probably the only change I would make. Instead of Exaction Squads, pretty please, have you considered the Rogue Trader Rogue Trader Companions, Rogue Trader, there's a squad that just gives you redeploy D3 battle line and Armor Grizzard battle line. You could redeploy them. So I'd consider that. But yeah, great list. I like the style. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. And hey.
Hi.
So thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
And
hey.
this next question, the one that I accidentally deleted,
Yeah.
I had to scramble to get back.
Yeah.
It's from Tom Mitchell. Is
Oh,
a
hey, Tom.
Custodes list. Perfect, right?
Oh, here we go.
Tom says, rate my Custodes list. Trajan +6 Wardens. Blade Champ with Veiled Blade +6 Wardens. Alaris Cap with Inspirational Exemplar +5 Alaris and Land Raider. 2 Alaris and Caladius, and 2 Exaction Squads.
Dude, everybody's taking these Exaction Squads. So, first off, Trajan, huge force multiplier. The more forces you have with him, the more he is multiplying. That's a fact. That's just math.
That is math.
I like him with 10 Custodian Guard. I think you can't leave home without him. He's just nuts. I could see him with 6 Wardens. That was one of the first lists I played.
Right.
But when you play with him, when you play him with 10 Guard, if you're trying to play competitively, you will probably never go back. It's
You are God.
so hard for anybody to do anything to that unit. And even when you kill like half of them, they still karate chop anything.
Right.
So yeah, and because they know karate, it's legitimately a karate chop. I like Veiled Blade, but not necessarily on a Blade Champ.
Okay. Why is that?
The advance and charge once per game, and fall back and do whatever you want. That enhancement fits the Blade Champion so well because he already gives you reroll advances
Right.
and reroll charges. And when you put him with Wardens, it's like a match made in heaven that they can protect him with their large tanky bodies and then go anywhere and do anything for the whole game because of him. And they'll get him where he needs to be. So I like that combo. I just wouldn't take... I like Veil Blade. I would just swap that and take Veil Blade on your Alaris captain. Can you take 5 Alaris without paying for 6? You might be able to, because you can make one a flag guy. They did so many dumb things with what can do what. I will say putting them in a land raider is not a great usage of the transport capacity. It's the only thing in your list that fits, but Alaris have Deep Strike and Uppy Downy.
Yeah.
They don't really want to be riding around a land raider. They want to be doing annoying things. They want to be like deep striking in the corners of the board and then picking up and deep striking somewhere else and just making obnoxious 9-inch charges and shooting more than they really should be allowed to. They harass around the flanks, in my experience. They are tanky. They're T7. And they do reroll wounds against vehicles, monsters, and characters. But I wouldn't put them in a land raider. I would... I might even cut the land raider.
I was going to say, do you cut it or do you put someone else in it?
Take second Caladius. Cut the land raider? Two Caladius?
Right, because at that point, if you don't care about the transport capacity, what is a land raider? Well, it's tough, okay, but more importantly, it's like 4 las cannons. But you know what also is basically 4 las cannons? Caladius.
Yeah, it's like 4 mega hyper las cannons.
Exactly. So that's a good point.
You can take 5 and pay for 5.
2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. What?
2, 3, 5, 6. If you take 4, you're paying for 5.
Right.
Yeah. They did that because you can turn 1 into... Look, I don't want to... It tilts me. It tilts me every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would swap the land raider to a Caladius if you have another one. You might not have. I mean, the res.
Yeah, it's Forge Roll, yeah.
If you don't, I rate Dreads like middling. I think Dreads are fine. Or just more Custodian Guard. You do have to pay to upgrade the 6 Wardens to 10 Custodian Guard. So you got to find those points somewhere. That might be where I find the points. And Exaction Squads, there must be a reason people are taking them. But like, I would not scoff at 40 points for 4 Prosecutors. I think they're really good.
Yeah, that's wow. Especially in the context of this army.
Yeah.
Cool.
Love it.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, thank you. This next one is from Matthew Holmes. Thank you, Matthew. How does charging work? Must you end an engagement range, or raw? Can you end outside if you can't get models to base? Haven't gotten clear answer.
So the second thing is the correct thing. If you can base, you must base. And this is per model, individually, one at a time.
Yeah.
If you cannot base, then the only requirement is that you end closer.
Right.
Or at least not farther away. You might be able to stay the same. Than you started, which is very, very ambiguous. Not as ambiguous as it used to be, but that is the way that works.
But you do have to get into combat with at least 1 model. Otherwise, the charge failed.
Correct. But it does not have to base. Only if you can base.
Right.
Like if you get within, is it an inch or half inch?
1 inch. Engagement's 1 inch.
But you don't have enough to base, then you're good. In fact, that's often what you want, unfortunately.
Yeah. But yes, somebody has to end in combat. Otherwise, your charge failed.
Correct.
And any model individually that can base has to base. Those are the rules. That's like the only restrictions.
Yeah. I almost don't want to say more because like
that's it.
It does get overcomplicated, but that's all it is.
That's it. Yeah.
Thanks, Matthew.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. This is from Ricardo Rodrigo Gomez de Fritadas.
Hey.
Thank you. Hi, Titans. So CSM, any ideas on DP with wings? Huron Black, MP, 10 Cult, 10 Liege, and 5, 2 Forge, Havocs, Hellbrute, Obliterators, 10 Possessed, and Venom.
Ooh, I like it. The CSM Demon Prince is a lot of fun. He gets the belly flop strat, the old Crusher strat.
That's the foot one. With wings, I don't think you get that.
Oh, really?
With wings, it's something else.
Oh, I thought the wing one was the.
No,
okay.
the foot one like crashes into you and does a bunch of mortals.
Oh.
Pull it up.
Okay, let's take a look.
Daemon.
Huron gives the redeploy. The master possession goes with the possessed. Venoms I think are just good for their points. It's a lot of shots at like middling profiles for like Space Marine bodies. Forge Fiends, Havocs, Hellbrute.
Oh, he does.
He does?
Yeah, the flying one does have demonic destruction.
Okay.
Roll a d6 for each remaining wound. For each 4 up, they'd suffer mortal up to 6.
And then he flies and does little battle shocks.
Yeah, that's cute.
He's cute.
And then the foot one, which they didn't ask about,
Classic.
doesn't have that ability. Okay.
Okay, yeah, so does the flying
something
one.
else.
Flying
Okay.
one's like a missile. I like this list a lot, honestly.
I don't like a blitz.
Oh, that's true. I'm not crazy about them. People really like them, but they're very expensive and they're very slow.
I think those people haven't played with them. I
Yeah.
think they like them on paper.
Yeah, they look good on paper,
Right.
right? You're like, oh, this is cool. You finally, as a chaos player, you're like, finally we have indirect once per game. But they just haven't panned out when we have played both with and against them, and we played a few games with them. So what would we change? Funny enough, we talked about not liking the Forge Fiend in Thousand Suns. I do like it here because you can draw the pact and stuff like that. So I'm actually going to say keep the Forge Fiends.
2 though?
I think
What if
two's
you
fine.
did a Forge Fiend and a Mauler? I like Mauler Friends. I rate Mauler Friends.
The problem with the Mauler friend though is he's a close combat, non-infantry model.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the Flying Demon Prince.
Yeah.
It's just a different flavor of Flying Demon Prince.
Right. But yeah, I guess that's true.
He doesn't fly, though. But to be honest, fly really doesn't help you get into combat anymore.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Fly
No.
doesn't help. It's not.
I don't know. I just think shooting is king right now, so I would take it.
It is.
Between a shooting and a melee version, I'd take the shooting version.
Well, shooting is king outside of a few silly hyper... Like Abaddon,
Yeah.
not a shooting unit.
10 Possessed is one of the ones.
Yeah,
That's
10
great,
Possessed.
especially if they're
There's some
Slanesh.
combat that just
Yeah,
wrecks things.
totally. I would cut the Obliterators for... What about Obliterator for Mauler Fiends?
There's no way those are equivalent in points. You can cut a Blitz for a Mauler Fiend?
Well, how many Blitz is it?
Blitz are way too expensive.
Really?
This shouldn't even be a question. No number of a Blitz. I guess if you have like... Would you think 4 Blitz should cost the same as a Mauler Fiend?
No, they're way more. They're like double him.
What? What?
In the previous edition, they were like 100 points.
What?
Yeah, man. Let me see. So if it's 2 a Blitz, then I think certainly this should work.
That's...
Yeah. Yeah.
Get them out.
Let me see.
Get them out. They're not worth it.
Chaos Space Marines.
They're not...
D. All right, here we go. Create army.
I would pay like 50 points a model for a Blitz.
50?
Yeah.
Shows what you know.
They don't... I mean...
They're,
They don't do anything, Adrian.
I'll tell you what. Hold on. I'll tell you what.
Compare them to a Custodian Guard and we'll talk. I think they're worth 50.
You can get a Mauler Fiend for every Obliterator you drop.
Oh, that's so bad. Get them out.
That is why they're 160
And
points.
take Abaddon.
Wow.
Take them out. Take Abaddon.
I mean, yeah, that would be real good.
What were they thinking?
I know. Look, respect. If you don't want to put Abaddon because you have Huron, but you can now.
You
There's
can.
no legions, so
And if you don't want to, you can take 2 Mauler Fiends.
I actually am okay with the Mauler Fiends if you're not pulling out this other thing.
What were they thinking when they put those points on Obliterators?
So expensive. Because they do look good on paper. I'm just not impressed.
So many points.
Wow. I hope that's helpful, Ricardo.
That's a whole tank. 160 points is a whole tank.
That's wow. That is more than a fire prism.
We went to the same place. More than a fire prism.
Oh man, great question. Thank you, Ricardo.
And your name's awesome.
Thank you. This next super chat is $5 support. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Amir
Amir.
Hades.
Appreciate it.
Amir.
And then let's see, we are here. Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew.
Next up is. Did I already say this one?
No, we did
Matthew
that one.
Holmes?
Yeah,
We did that
we
one?
did
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Matthew.
Cool. This next one is from Stu Will. Thank
up,
you,
Stu?
Stu. Hi from the UK. Only been playing a few months, and I have a Space Wolves army. In 10th, the Wolfen and the Thunder Wolf Cav have taken a real hit. What could I use instead? Many thanks.
We still like Thunderwolf Cat.
Thunderwolf Cav are still interesting. Like when you compare them to what they were. Well, first of all, Stu, welcome. welcome to the game.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
If you compare them to what they were, it's going to make you sad. But if you look at them just as they are, they're actually decent. And there was actually a list that did well recently. They do the Gladius monstrosity. I know. But they ran 2 blocks of 6 Thunderwolf Cav. Because unlike the Obliterator, you can get a lot of Thunderwolf Cav. They're 100 points for 3 models. So for 200 points, you get a block of 6 of these.
Compare them to Obliterators.
It's awesome. They're fast, they have invulns, they're 2 damage on the charge. I like them a lot. So I don't know that you necessarily need to take out your Thunderwolf Cav if you don't want to. I think the Wolfen, you take those, throw them in the trash. What would you take instead? There's a few options. Defensively, I think I'll tell you this actually. I think Space Wolves are one of the armies in which offensive Blade Guard can also work, because you could take Ragnar, attach him to the squad, he gives them an advance in charge. And now they have a mobility that they wouldn't normally have.
Well, I mean, if you're doing the Gladius Abomination,
yeah, everyone has it.
You can just assault doctrine.
That's true.
You just advance charge whenever you want.
That's true. But I think Blade Guard are interesting for Space Wolves, generally speaking. I think Terminators are great.
Terminators are good.
Yeah.
And you can put Aryak in there?
Yup.
Swinging his hammer around.
Let's party! Let's go!
It's like a frat boy swinging his shirt around, except it's Ragnar swinging a hammer around. You don't want to be near Not Ragnar, sorry, Aryak.
Aryak,
swinging his hammer around. Yeah, let's go!
Either case, you don't want to be around them. Whether it's a shirt or a hammer, it's going to be bad. And they have great characters. Aryak, Ragnar, Logan is awesome.
Yeah.
Logan
on Slay?
Logan on Slay with Thundercav is genuinely interesting. Logan on foot with Terminators or Blade Guard, also interesting.
Also interesting.
So
Bjorn, not interesting.
Not interesting. Makes
Bjorn,
me sad. Bjorn
sad
sucks.
Yeah. Ugh. Murderfang, also sad.
Yeah. I don't love any of the Dreadnoughts. And Mel's coming to the same conclusion as well. She's kind of cutting her dreads.
They often just die before they do anything.
They die, they're slow, they're not as tough as they used to be. It's just sucks.
Especially when they're T3, 2 wounds.
That's right. That was unfortunate. So I think Space Wolves, while they took a hit, they're not in as bad a place as some people might think they are. I think they are very playable.
Yeah.
So yeah, have fun.
Thanks, Stu.
This next one is from Martin.
You mean it?
Hey, Martin.
No, you mean it.
Thank you, Martin. I have for weeks been trying to get into the Discord server, but any link I use says it is invalid or expired. No Bridger is probably trolling. Please help.
Adrian.
Our vanity link will always work. Discord.gg/tabletop-titans. It'll always work.
There you go, Martin.
It'll never not work.
I'm shocked that. What?
Yeah. We'll look into it.
We'll look into it.
We'll look
Martin.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can do some looking into it right now.
Well, yeah.
No,
We'll look
right
at
now. No, I'm looking at it right now.
We'll take a look and see
No, I'm looking.
what we can do, Martin. Oh, what's up, Nameless? Thank you.
So this is from Nameless. Thank you, Nameless. Nameless says, Tau FTG interaction with eligible to shoot. Can a Tau unit that has been guided and therefore shot be the observer for another unit? By Raw, it works, but it might be an unintended interaction.
Correct. That is, I believe, exactly what it is. And I chatted with Brian about this. Technically, it does work. It feels janky. It's probably not intended.
That's because it is janky.
It is janky. No, it is. There's some serious jank right there. So, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head right there, Nameless. I think if you want to play it at events, you could run it raw. You could also ask the TO if you want to make sure. But yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing right now. I really wish, I hope they would clarify this sooner than later. But yeah, they haven't, which makes playing Tau a little bit awkward, frankly. Yeah.
So I found the invite links.
Mm-hmm.
None of them are expired, so we'll have to figure that out.
Okay, we'll take a look.
That's there's a lot of invite links.
Hey, that's me.
You made one, 397 uses. I made one, 17,000 uses.
Oh,
it's the one in our.
Oh, okay.
Posted in the description
That's
of
fair.
the videos. But I mean, I don't want to brag, but my invite does have 17,000 uses.
Wow, I need to get my numbers
You gotta
up.
pump those numbers up. You haven't broken
17,000.
You haven't even broken 400, Adrian.
I know, but look, it's a good group.
It is a good.
Yeah.
It's a good crew.
We should find out who came through my link and who came through yours.
I mean, I think I can actually do that. I think that's the point of this page.
We don't have to go through all 17,000 right now.
Yeah, let's
You were like, oh, really?
Super chat.
Can we do that?
This next one is from Sean Hannon. Thank
Thanks,
you, Sean. What up, fam? Playing World Eaters, want to play Scarbrand with Angron. Is SB viable in comp? I only really play against Imp K locally, and cheeks get clapped.
Yeah, so Scarbrand, I don't live him the way that I lived him before.
Oh man,
I know, it's sad.
This whole thing is tough. Because, like, Angron is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, he kills knights. Real good.
Yeah.
Kills them.
Yeah.
On the other hand, knights kill him real good.
Yeah, but here's the thing, he can come back. And
It's
he gets advance in charge.
It's not easy to get him back. And when he comes back,
He's
it's
at full.
9-inch away. It's just a 9. It's just a 9-er.
Just gotta get good, you know? That's all I'm saying. He can be obscured, though.
He can.
Oh, but knights don't care. Never mind.
Knights don't care.
I forgot about that.
And if he is hugging a building, he then has to move around said building.
Right.
Because fly is
Yeah.
not good in 10.
I was just looking at Scarbrand, just thinking, of course, he still can pin people in combat, but guess what knights also don't care about?
That.
Yeah. Well, because you're a monster, they can still shoot you.
Right. And when they can shoot out as well. Like, the thing you've trapped doesn't care, and everything else that wants to shoot in also doesn't care.
Unfortunately, I don't love Scarbrand. I think I'd rather even have, like, outside of the knight problem, I'd rather have... Oh, but it's with World Eaters. The problem is, I think, if you're allying in Demons, you're allying them for, like, little utility squads.
Sure.
Or shooting with the Skull Cannon, because you kind of get you don't get the bonus on both sides, right? Angron can get an advance in charge if you roll high enough. He can get the Feel of Pains. Scarbrand's not going to benefit from that. Conversely, Scarbrand, I think, really needs the Shadow of Chaos to work. You also can get an advance in charge if you're a Demons proper. So unfortunately, I think he's just going to get the worst of both worlds, and I probably wouldn't take him with World Eaters.
I liked Triple Brigand in World Eaters. That was a rough game. I don't know if you saw that game.
Yeah.
I failed a 5-inch charge that we didn't know at the time was the whole game.
No.
And we found out it was the whole game.
Yeah. Turns out.
Turns out. But I do like Brigands with World Eaters. So maybe become
Become brigands.
live long enough to become the villain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I just think it's a combo that's not really going to help you out here. Brigands are cool, though.
Yeah, I like Brigands.
Or just take some more scoring, you know, try to outscore. The demon scoring is still good.
That's true.
You know,
That's true.
That almost worked against knights today.
It is a strategy. And it should, once things settle down, it should actually become a very effective strategy against knights. I think knights are still just a little overtuned right now.
Yeah. Still.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
Sean.
Thank you. Thank you. This next one is from Massalia Delt. Thank you, Massalia. 10 Rattlings and a Bane Hammer. How dumb is it actually, though? Waiting on GW to fix Krieg War Gear so I can run the Marshal/Psyker 20-man with medkits. So for that, FNP plus Invuln.
Be awesome. There's a weird thing that legit might be a typo where, you know, it's like with the whole double character thing. There's a kind of weird, they're missing a keyword. So I know it sounds crazy, but it actually might be a typo.
Their whole war gear sheet on the back is missing all the options that they get from the kit for Kriegers.
Right, exactly.
It's missing the whole, it's everything. It's like they copy pasted the wrong unit.
I'm surprised they haven't fixed that, to be honest.
10 Rattlings and a Bane Hammer.
How dumb is it actually? It sounds pretty dumb.
Wait, hold on.
You gonna pull up these Rattlings? What the heck do
Because I
Rattlings
love
do?
me a Rattling.
Yeah. I used to love them when they were...
I think they need a new model.
Oh, I
think
like the
that's-
model. I think it's great.
I think
You should get the Blood Bowl team and make them all Gordon Ramsays with snipers. Shoot and sharpscaper.
so that's not
Scarper.
relevant because they're not in.
So they do still have that.
They
Yeah.
do still shoot and scoot.
Okay.
But when they're in a Bane Hammer, they can't do that.
Correct.
And then they're PS3. Wow.
Down to twos if you don't know.
Heavy precision. 422. So you could. Why do you want this?
I think it's funny.
Wait, but why?
Sniper Bane Hammer, I guess.
But
But why?
But okay, there's a character in a unit, right? You have a Lord of War. Just kill the unit.
What abilities does the Bane Hammer have that it would get with snipers?
Tremor Quake. After selecting a target for the Tremor Cannon,
Oh, so it doesn't help it.
that target and every other infantry within 3 must take a battle shock.
Okay, that's cool ability, but has nothing to do with.
Very cool. It does a firing deck 12, so you could put.
You could pay for 15 ratlings and put 2 more in it.
You could, yes. I was thinking more heavy weapon las cannons.
Or 2 Vindicators.
Vindicator? You can only have 1 Vindicator. What do you?
Is that true?
He's a named character. You can't
What?
have 2 Vindicators.
Why is he named? He shouldn't be named.
All the assassins are epic heroes now.
What? Oh, they're
'Cause
epic heroes.
'cause
Sorry.
they're Epic.
That's right. I accept that. Not named now. Some might say they're
Look,
nameless.
heavy weapons teams take up 2 slots. So in the transport capacity of 26,
Yeah.
you could get 18 heavy weapons teams of las cannons. Only 12 of them shoot, but you could have 18 in the party bus.
Yeah, I don't know about this one, Macelia.
I just, like, what are you sniping that you couldn't just blow up with your Lord of War? Imagine instead of a Bane Hammer, you had a Bane Blade or Shadow Sword, and you just...
It's like suppressing fire on a castigator.
Right.
They're
yeah,
gonna
I
be
suppressed
dead.
the dead infantry.
Yeah, like, and stay down.
I killed the character with precision and then also killed his whole squad with my giant gun. Like,
It's like you're killing them from the front and the back, which I kind of
it's a
appreciate.
trash compactor.
Yeah.
You get them on both sides. It's fun.
It's definitely cool.
If you enjoy it, try it. But we don't know what you're trying to do here, I think is what we're getting at. Thanks, Macelia.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. This one is from Mir Hades again. Thank you again, Ymir. Hey guys, still miffed they limited OOV judgment tokens to a max of 2. If you could add a 3rd judgment token,
Ooh.
what should I do? Also, most important question in 40k. Do you say T-Sons or K-Sons?
People say K-Sons?
K-Sons?
I've never heard K-Sons.
Who
Like-
says K-Sons?
Like Keurig?
Keurig.
Like K-Cups?
Like 1,000? Like K? Like 1K? 1K?
I mean,
K-Sons?
I can see... I've
What?
seen 1K Sons before.
Sure.
Like written. I don't think anybody says
No,
1K Sons.
You gotta say T-Sons?
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 It's like E-Champ.
E-Champ? Or like it's like a rapper name. Like, what's up? T-Sons in the house.
T-Sons.
Let's go T-Nids,
Up in
T-Sons?
here.
So that answers that question.
It is awkward that they printed physical judgment tokens that go up to 3.
I didn't even think about that.
And then they were like,
No way!
yeah, I don't know, it's only 2 now. But I think if you got the same effect with having to get up to 3 tokens,
So it's +1 hit, +1 to wound?
that's it, yeah.
Why not ignore cover?
Because pretty much everything in the army already ignores cover.
Oh.
Because they have the scanner upgrade, and
Yeah.
all upgrades are free now.
What if they had an ability to have lethal hits? Wouldn't that be crazy?
Don't they already have that like everywhere?
No, they don't. They don't. But that's what they used to have, basically, right? That's what judgment tokens were.
Oh.
Or lethal 6, lethal 5, lethal 4.
Oh, okay. I see what you're getting at there.
I don't know what I would add.
I don't.
Extra AP?
Maybe like a benefit for you against that unit. Like they're
Oh, weird.
-1 to hit you.
It's called I'm kind of nervous now.
It's
They're
called,
all judging you.
oops, we pissed them off. They're really bad.
Self-consciousness.
The thing is, like, you get a lot less judgment tokens now, so I think it's probably better at capping it too. Appraising glare is choose an objective you can see, and everything in range of that objective counts as having 1 more. You don't need more than that. Like, it's good at 2. I wouldn't change it.
Interesting.
I think it's a more reasonable rule than it was in 9th.
Yeah, that's true. I don't have a rule. I don't have a problem per se with the judgment tokens. It's the points, the base profiles.
Yeah.
That's the problem. If they could fix that.
The army struggles to have an identity outside of Hearthguard now. Hearthguard and Hekachonks.
Yeah.
Those are the only units that feel like they do anything because of base profiles and abilities and points. But honestly, I don't want them to be cheaper. I don't want 1 million.
No, I don't want that. We don't want that. They should be
better.
like stalwart.
More good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Peace out.
Yeah, this is another one from Muscle Adult. Thank you again. Ratlings can get out in the movement, shoot, move back into the Bane Hammer since their movement is counted as normal with their ability.
Nope,
Shoot the Ratlings with firing deck 12.
Nope. There's a rule in the game that says you can't get out of the transport and get back in the same turn unless it's one of those transports that says you can get back in.
Is it same? I thought it was same phase.
Core rule.
Same turn.
Same turn. Can't get out and back in the same turn.
Unless you have a rule.
I will consult.
The Tome of the Ectoclades.
That's right.
Because Cobbleites have a rule, and no, Venoms have a rule.
That you can get out and get back in.
Yeah.
And
it smells so good. Just like smelled that paper smell for a second. I was like,
And the Repulsor has a rule where you can get back in.
Well, that one's not even in the same turn because it's when your opponent moves close to you.
Yeah.
So that one guaranteed gets
You know
around.
what? Transports are back here.
Yeah.
We'll find it.
Before the making attack section.
Please hold. Please hold. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's after movement.
It is.
Embark. Unit cannot embark if it's already disembarked from a transport model in the same. Oh, phase. That feels like a loophole. That doesn't feel right. Can't embark if you already disembarked in the same phase. If a unit from your army starts your movement phase embarked, then you can disembark.
I think it works. Because the thing I was also looking at is this whole like, oh, it's a normal move. If a unit makes a normal advance or fallback move and every model ends move within 3, and it doesn't say movement phase either. I think it's fine. I think it gets to a bigger question of still why?
Yes. We were sort of under the impression that you were just going to shoot from inside of the tank.
Because it doesn't give you much, like you get a few inches, you can move out 9, shoot, and then go back in. So it gives you a little bit of like shooting from the sides, basically. I don't know if that's really worth the benefit.
Yeah. I'm also pretty sketched out on this whole concept of getting out and back in the same turn.
Yeah.
It feels like not what they wanted. Look, we've been here before. The reason I'm so convinced that this is not right is we've been here before multiple times. GW has accidentally allowed this several times in the past.
Why would they learn?
And killed it every single time with fire. They were upset. They were deeply offended that we were even trying to do this, which is, I've now assumed their position of like, why would you even, no, how dare you? How dare you try to do this?
That's fair.
You shouldn't try to play the game.
I know, right?
But it's still, why, though? Like, I guess at the end of the day, if you really love Ratlings,
You should take Ratlings.
then you should take Ratlings
100%.
and move, shoot, move them. May I remind you, a wall, effectively the same here. Makes them invincible. They move out from the wall, they shoot, they move back behind the wall.
Yeah.
Kind of the same effect, does not require a 400-point Lord of War.
Yeah, you're not using, you can Overwatch with this, but again, it's still not really worth it. That's the only difference.
No, you can't overwatch firing decks. Shoot phase only.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
The rule firing deck says in your shooting phase, add the guns to this.
So when I played a game with Skogoth, I put Burner Boys inside of it.
How dare you, sir?
And look, it didn't come up technically because John was too scared to move close to it. So I was like, watch out. I'm going to shoot you. And he's like, oh.
I'm going to double check. While we're here, I have the book. I'm going to make sure.
That'd make me sad if it doesn't work like that.
Because I told John that this is how it works because I had seen it in a comment section somewhere.
Oh, well, if it was a comment section, it must be true.
I mean...
Was it the comment section on our game?
It wasn't the comment section on the Squig game.
Again, didn't technically do it, but I told him I could.
Where's firing deck?
In transports, maybe?
Just burn this book. Transport, firing deck. Each select a shoot in the shooting phase. Yeah.
Ah, poop. Well,
Got him.
Don't tell John.
I did tell John because he tried to do it on Thursday.
So I did it against him, and then he tried to. Shucks.
Sorry, John.
Oh,
Look, you should have memorized all 30 pages of the core rule.
Yeah, come on, get with it, nerd.
Word by word.
Thank you again, Masili. Appreciate the questions.
Thank you again. And we have one more.
One more.
Liam and just with support. Thank you so
thank you
much.
so much,
Liam.
Greatly appreciate it.
And
Yeah, let us know about your name. Curious.
I'd love to know. But yeah, and that is
that's all we got.
Yes. This was a good talk. We discussed the strongest, scariest armies, where things are moving, and honestly, this is just the beginning.
It is.
There's going to be lots of changes coming up soon, and of course, in fall, we have the actual balanced data slate. But we're just loving life playing this game right now. It's been an absolute blast. We have things, of course, coming up tomorrow. If you're a member, we have a members-only video coming out, giving us some behind-the-scenes projects that Lindsay and I have been working on. We have a bunch of new emperors we're going to be crowning. It's definitely a good time to be a member. Of course, Tuesday is our members-only game, so join us for that. We have Chaos Knights being played. This is your first time you're hearing about it.
to play Knights all the time.
And this time the people voted for it. It wasn't like we were like, we want to play Knights. The people want to see the Knights.
Oh,
so that's going to be fun. Join us for that. If you're not a member, you should definitely consider becoming one so you can join us on those and a number of other events coming up soon. Honestly, thank you all so much for joining us. We'll catch you next time on the Tabletop. Bye.